All right, let's kick this thing off here. Mic check. Mic check, mic check. You should be able to hear, see the screen, all that. Mr. Blue here. TradePhantoms.com. Welcome, welcome. What's going on, folks? Streaming YouTube, Instagram. And let's kick this thing off here. Today is going to be, we have a new month. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend. Summer's quote unquote officially over. Brings us to today being Thursday, September 4th, 2025. TradePhantoms.com, Mr. Blue here. We'll go through, spend about an hour, give or take. Go through some pre-market prep before the 9:30 a.m. open. Start off with some futures. Gold futures on fire to the upside. Do some NASDAQ, S&Ps, and then go through some individual tickers, mainly the MAG 7, as the market will open in about 40 minutes to see if we can take a setup if I see anything setting up. That said, I'll kick this off here with, if I fix these charts, with a document that I bring up every single morning, no matter what. And it's kind of a pre-planned kind of checklist, if you will, top-down approach. Where's that document? Right here. Got my attention now. Demand supply. The institutional demand supply is the backdrop strategy of Phantoms. Top-down multiple time frame analysis. Always starting with the higher time frames first, even if you are short-term scalping. We always want to start with the high time frames. You'll see a bunch of orange, yellows, and blues as a color code. The reason being is because I color code these three major big to higher time frames. So anything that you see on the charts in orange color has to do with, or is in regard to, what is the monthly time frame doing, demand, supply, VWAP, etc. Yellow is going to be weekly chart designation. The color code blue is going to be daily. So orange, yellow, blue, monthly, weekly, daily. That's the color code. I'm not going to go through this checklist as this pre-market prep here. But yes, I covered this in some of the classes that we have here at Phantoms. Candlesticks, bullish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names. However, location and context being most important, we typically want to look at these, or let these print at demand zones in the context of uptrends, if you're doing it the right way. Bearish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, location and context in supply, in the context of downtrend, is going to be best and more reliable. And then we get the liquidity map. This is super important here. And I usually park this over here to the left. And if you understand this, 1 through 4 quadrant, understanding that there's 2 actions, buy and sell, but 4 possibilities: buy to enter, sell to exits, sell short to enters, buy to cover dips, or buy to cover drops. We put these quadrant all together in some of the advanced classes that we have, so you can understand, so the traders that we're trading here at Phantoms can understand the right side of liquidity. Cool. Done with that. Today's news, holiday week, short week, Monday closed, right? Brings us all the way here to Thursday. Today, we do have ISM Services PMI. That comes out at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Hey, Eric, hey, I see you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, you got to ask. You got to ask, right? I never do. I never ask. I don't ask for shit. But yeah, thank you for that, Eric. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, ISM. So 30 minutes after the open, definitely something to note there, right? I'm not sure if I'm going to be with y'all at that time or not. In the live trade rooms at Phantoms, I go all the way until, we do all the way to 8:30 to 12:30, 4 or 5 hours or whatever it is, 4 hours. But on YouTube, I usually don't go past kind of a first hour. So I'll see if I can give you some insight of what I see as that time comes to light at around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow being Friday, just while I'm here staring it in our face, as this guy's putting pressure on me here. Hurry up. We do have average earnings for tomorrow. Non-farm payroll change tomorrow, non-employment rate. That's a big one, folks, right? NFPs, non-farm payroll, first Friday of the month. Here we go, September 5th being tomorrow. That's a big one there, okay? Not only just for equities, but even currencies as well, right? So that's a big one there. So I just want to put that. I got it covered, bro, right? Good, we got that covered now. All right, so 10 a.m., just keep a note on that. Let's start off with the good stuff here, futures. And next week, next week for sure, I'm going to be going over into trading view to be charting futures. So I got something cooking for y'all in the background. I'm deploying that next week for sure, no matter what. Anyways, I digress. Let's start with the major forward indexes. Just really briefly, it's going to be difficult to see just really quickly, but I just like to set the stage here with the S&P daily time frame upper left, NASDAQ daily time frame upper right. I know you can't see a lot of stuff here, that's why I can't wait to move some of the data over into trading view. I got Dow Jones lower left with the Russell 2000 on the bottom right, small caps. So as you can see right now, we essentially flat for the most part. S&P's up 0.11%, nothing crazy there, 0.14%. Dow completely flat, literally flatlined, and then we get the Russell 2000 up 0.25%. So pretty quiet at the moment, nothing too crazy. If I do kind of pop this open here, you can try to make out to see kind of what is happening here behind all these drawings here. Here's the current price, daily time frame of the S&P futures. Right, and we're in a bull market still, of course, right? We've had a drop late part last week. We dropped down, right? So this is today's bar, of course, the 4th. I'm not going to give you the calendar days here, but, yesterday, just being Wednesday, September 3rd, the key takeaway that I just want to have y'all take away right now is the bar high and the bar low. Yesterday's daily high, yesterday's daily low was completely inside of the prior bar, the prior bar high and low, meaning September 2nd, which is essentially the beginning of this trading week, right? Because we had a holiday on Monday. So this is kind of Tuesday's bar high and bar low, candle high, candle low. And since then, we had some nice movement, right, off the back of that, September 2nd. But then yesterday was kind of just kind of choppy and quiet a little bit there, right? Up and down, up and down. And even today, as we are starting out the session, even though we are above the prior day's high, okay, there's a bigger bar, meaning Tuesday's bar high and bar low. That is what's called the mother bar, okay? In candlestick Japanese, there's something called harami, which means inside, pregnant inside bar. So inside bar. So Tuesday's high and Tuesday's low is super important. Why? Because that is what's kind of holding so far for the week, right? It's already Thursday, entering into their Thursday session. No advancement for the markets, right? So we did have that drop. We dropped into a level of demand, great. Didn't make a new low or anything like that, okay? And that's so far the watermark low for this week. Are we going to take that out? Not sure. I do have a note right there on that daily low. Matter of fact, I'm going to make this yellow so it kind of pops out a little bit there. Why yellow? Color code weekly. I'm not sure if this is going to remain the true statement here, but this is this week's so far weekly low. Okay, now this could get taken out if we make a new low hypothetically today. Okay, that would obviously get updated. But what I want to do is kind of take this that price point specifically, essentially Tuesday's low, and kind of highlight that with a brighter yellow, so it kind of sticks out a little bit as I drop down to the smaller time frames, which we're going to discuss what's called a Globex trap. In the event that we do break Tuesday's high, looking up and left, I mean, really, there's only another daily high here, and then we have the all-time high 65.23 in the S&P future. So, albeit, even though we have some things in the backdrop, right, tariffs and things like that, government shutdown, there's always going to be something in the backdrop. S&Ps are very close to their all-time highs. So, I keep on saying this, and soon it's not going to be the case anymore. But, if I were to ask, would anybody be surprised one bit if the S&Ps, just clipped up into a new all-time high in the S&P futures or SPY and even SPX, right? You have to say, you kind of say, okay, that could easily be the case because it's the path of least resistance, where they can just, we're less than 100 points away from that, right? So that could happen, right? So that's one of the things that we're going to be looking for if that happens. So I got kind of the range all-time high up here, and then I got Tuesday's low, which is hypothetically this week's low if that remains true. But we got a couple of demand levels below that weekly low that I'm going to reference in a moment. Okay, Nasdaq, I can say almost the same thing, other than the so here's Nasdaq current price, Tuesday's high, Tuesday's low, inside bar, great. I will make that yellow, so it kind of sticks out. So come on, I'll get it. Good morning. Did I take any entries today? I'm managing a gold swing, a gold futures trade swing, bullish. I'm managing that. Futures flat at the moment. S&Ps and NASDAQ. I am managing a gold swing bullish, which should not be a surprise to any of the Phantoms members. as they know. Not hiding anything. It was pretty simple. Base break, higher seasonality. September kicks off decent. It's just the market's doing the market's thing. All right. So I'll just reference point that daily low, which could be, I'll keep that daily low, whatever. It could be this weekly low. But anyways, if we were to break that, there's going to be a G trap below that. One thing that is a little bit different in the NASDAQ futures here, daily time frame, versus the S&P, comparing it, is good morning, Walter. Good morning, Quality Transportation, my man. Is the NASDAQ all-time high is 24,068 up here. And as you can see, S&P, if I were to kind of give you some relativity to that, S&P is kind of hovering a lot more closer to its all-time high relative to the NASDAQ. So in other words, NASDAQ is a little bit more further away from its all-time high. NASDAQ actually did attempt to try to make a new, we have a bullish bar here, positive COG inside bar. We talked about that last week. Little pop, no fall through, failure to fall through into an equal to high, and that allowed us to, on this week Tuesday, swipe down lower, taking out a level below here. Okay, below that daily low and weekly low right there, twink right below into another daily demand level, a 60-minute level down in here as well. So that's one of the things I'm looking at, going to be for potentially today or later part this week, or maybe even next week potentially. Okay, down here, but that created a bit of a pivot here. Now this could just provide some liquidity here as well. So we have a level, and as I mentioned, in the event that we do break Tuesday's high, and we break to the upside here, of course, the next level looking up and left will be this 20 daily time frame, 23,780, 770. Okay, 780 up into the 23,800. Okay, give or take up here, and that could be easily used for like a nice little pump right above for some liquidity. Okay, so a nice little pivot inside of a still higher high. Now, that is just planning that right now. We could come up here, respect this level here, not make a pop new high right here. Okay, and then we can start to go in a little more of a range here. Okay, so again, the key takeaway here is NASDAQ is not as close to its high as the S&P, but as the kids would say, don't sleep on the NASDAQ. It's tech. Just needed a deeper pullback. Microsoft coming off its all-time highs pretty significantly. Meta, things had to kind of calm down a little bit with the Mag 7. But now you got Alphabet, you got Google, right? Alphabet, Google, Apple making a move, etc. To the upside. So these Mag 7s are just kind of like passing the ball, as I kind of express with the Phantoms group. What I will do now is I'm going to drop down, Dow Jones kind of, okay, great, 30 stocks, kind of boring. The S&P and the NASDAQ are a little bit more better. Russell 2000, I haven't touched Russell 2000 in a couple of years now. As small caps are cool, but over the past couple of years, they've just been like a nightmare. We got a monthly here, weekly here, daily here. I didn't manage to get that one, Mark, but I've just been getting pullbacks on. I've had orders on gold futures that have been sitting, so I've just been trying to accumulate as much as I can on drops into daily lows and 60-minute levels in 4 hours. But Boink, we had planned this one yesterday. Boink, this is what Mark Wahlberg is mentioning here. So I didn't engage this one here, but that one is looking beautiful here. We're already hit. So good job. We planned this out yesterday. Global strap. I will get to that. We got monthly here, weekly here, daily here, monthly, weekly, daily. By the way, just while I'm on gold here, say uptrend here, uptrend here, uptrend here. So, Phantoms, we just talk a lot about, don't short gold. I mean, it's in a monthly up, weekly up, daily up. It's just been on a period of sideways inside bars in the monthly. And, as you can see on the weekly here in the middle too, it's just been holding still higher, high, high, low, just ranging, right? During the period of typically June to, I'd say late May into late August. The whole summer period is typically a sideways, not so bullish seasonality time for gold. Once September comes into October, into the late year, end of the year, gold seasonality wise does kind of pump up. So there's no surprise that this is going, as now the monthly and the weekly, the daily has been aligned up. Okay, but finally, we just coming out of the base hibernation in gold over the summer, and now it's waking back up. Okay, so we get these bullish bars here, positive COG, 1, 2, 3 goes. My Phantoms members will know it's kind of like a different language to an untrained eye. Okay, but just managing it. Now, the reason why, to our good friend Mark Wahlberg, as we call him at Phantoms, on YouTube there, the reason why I'm getting a little more lighter as we're getting higher up here. Okay, I did have orders overnight, like lower down in here, so I still do. I'll reference that in a moment. Okay, but as we're getting a little bit more higher here, we could have a little bit more of a deeper pullback. So that's one of the things that I'm looking at. So I was looking at the prior weekly and monthly high over here as a potential retest, which brings us down to the 35, 37. Let me make a note of that really briefly just while I'm here. Actually, I can copy and paste this line. As it's orange. That's that last month's high. August high. So the 35, 34. This is August high retest. All right, and typically what I'll do is I'll break that line to let me know that that is broken and it's a retest on the other side. So therefore, when I drop down to the small time frames, so I got a monthly here, weekly here, daily here, 60-minute here, 30-minute here, 5-minute here, 2-minute here. All right, now you can see it already right here. So these levels, right, if I were to map out our Globex high, one of the first things we do, there's the gray space overnight high here in futures. This is gold on a 1-hour time frame. Overnight low happens to be right there. Okay, now today's overnight low dropped down in here, and yesterday we had a Globex low here, and that was a level of demand also on a daily high, daily high, broke, okay, retest level right below all of this massive shelf right here for liquidity, right? So there's a Globex low yesterday. We eventually broke that this overnight session into an basing impulse level of demand. We had two, 35.77, 35.65. Okay, there's also another level down in here as well. Okay, but that's what we were looking at earlier. We planned this yesterday. Okay, hit, right? Impulse, basing impulse, and that was a G trap yesterday that hit as a retest level. Now we still do have this one today, 35.65. That could still be used as a decent pullback to get bullish, of course. In the event that we do break, you see how the markets spend some time here overnight, right? So here's current price here, but I'm looking over here. Spend some time, liquidity buildup. A lot of time spent here for my phantoms, right? Right below the August, what was once a high, broke out to a new all-time high in gold futures. This would be the retest on the other side here, okay? And so if you notice, here's, for example, a prior daily high, broke to a new high, retest on the other side, liquidity built up, break, doink. It's happening over here on a bigger scale where we have liquidity buildup. If we were to have break even this Globex low and break this level and come down and swipe below here, what I'm looking for is a fresh impulse, basing impulse right into this area here for the trap. Okay, so if I go down and investigate this area right in here, I want to see that impulse, basing impulse. On a small time frame, if I zoom in, not the greatest, but we have something right here. It's ugly green. Gold futures. It says level on level in here. Okay. So this has already got tested. Nice little bounce out of that level there. Classic G-trap. Beautiful. Shout out to the team. In the event that we just break this Globex low, we still have a impulse, basing impulse right below there. So keep on the dock. I would suggest 35.65 potentially, and we can't ignore this whole level down in here as well. All right, I'll grade that out a little bit there. A lot of time spent there, if they kind of bring this down lower and they do pick up and they do swipe it, I could easily see. This is why I don't want to have y'all put like a level of demand right here, your stop loss right below here. You'll most likely just be market maker shark bait right there. So what I'm doing here is, instead of potentially folks being a victim of a liquidity sweep, put demand zone entering here, but your stop loss below here, okay, hopefully helping y'all to be a benefit of a sweep. So when you put your entry, okay, 35.31 ish, okay, below that 35.34 recent last month's August high, breakout in September, retest level right here. Okay, so 35.30 handle, okay, is going to be a nice, decent trap, G-trap bullish, in the event that we swipe lower and we get down into the 35.50 handle. Okay, but now remember, gold's in a raging fast bull market at the moment, right? So this could easily just break the Globex low, right? Just pick up that impulse, basic impulse right below there at the 65 to the, I'd say the 55 handle as well. Let me make a little box in there real quick. Yeah, I'm spending too much time on this. We got to move forward. 39.10. All right, so we valid there. All right, G-trap short. Well, we have to get above a Globex high and look for a supply level, and there's nothing in gold. Okay, so just be careful with that. My Phantoms will know how to work on it. An all-time high for a fade would have to be an extension. Okay, kind of an extension away from the short-term means. Okay, to try to take a short-term correction move with small time frames. A little bit more harder to do. Yeah, I'll leave that there. There's no time to go over that. Let's go over to S&P futures really briefly. That's where I usually start. But when I switch it up a little bit there, I went over to gold. Show some love for gold, but it's hot right now, right? So you got to get it while it's hot. 1 hour time frame. S&P futures. Yesterday was straight chop, really, for the most part. Right? We had a Globex high, Globex low yesterday. Markets moved up. We hit the Globex high really quick by a couple of points. Swipe lower. Didn't even make a Globex low at all, and then just finished back up and just ranged yesterday. Okay. Inside day, as mentioned. Here's a new Globex high here for today. Here's the new Globex low for today. Overnight high, overnight low. And as I was mentioning in the gold futures, what we're looking for a G-trap is an institutional level of demand below that said Globex low, which is right there. Right, nice tight range today, so far overnight, just sideways. If in the event that we were to break Globex low, if I look down left, do I have an institutional level of demand right down here? Now this is a demand level, albeit, right? Don't get me wrong. Is this level fresh? No, right? Because this was a impulse move. We rallied here, right? And then that created this little level right here, of course. Already retested that yesterday, worked out great. Okay, you just didn't break the Globex low at all. The point that I'm trying to make, though, is that if we were to come back down in here, folks, is this going to be a lower grade or a higher grade now that it's been tested? It's going to be a lower grade, right? So I'm going to be extremely careful here. Furthermore, there's going to be a ton of stop losses placed right here, right? Because even if I was, we have, let's say we were talking about in the live trade room with Phantoms, this 4 hour positive COG here in purple. I don't have enough time to talk about that right now. But to keep a long story short, short story long, ton of liquidity built up right here. Okay. So in the event that we do break Globex low, I'm not really going to be looking at this level super obvious. This could be a nice little liquidity buildup. So I'm going to be referencing below that. Okay. And right below that, we have an impulse, a basing, and an impulse right down in here. So 64.08, which I already have notes here. Okay. 64.0, I'd say 7. Okay, down into this area here, this level down here. This is going to be a lot better for what's called G traps. Okay. And also, this is going to be lower on the range, okay, of this week so far. Right now, this is Tuesday's low, which happens to be this week's low. Definitely want to still reference that down in here. Definitely going to be another level of demand as well for G traps as well. In the event that we sweep lower below here and come into the 64.06, let's say that breaks. Okay, we'll get down into potentially this 63.80. Watch out for that new weekly low liquidity sweep right below there. If I'm just trying to prepare y'all in the event that happens. Okay, we also have another weekly low right down in here, 63.62. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I don't want to get too exaggerated here. Okay, but just keep an eye on that 6371. That's Tuesday's low. So it could be a little bit interesting here in the event that we do pick up some major liquidity. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. That's all the way down here. All right, but even for tomorrow, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're visiting the channel of Phantoms and you want to get some insight, this could still be relevant for tomorrow as well, Friday session. Okay, if it hits, hits. If it's not, then what are we doing? If it goes up, pullback side. I have a daily high here. Be careful, 64.85. In the event that we do, spike higher, we're still in a bull market, right? So I want to be a little bit more aggressive, if you will. I'm sorry, conservative. I don't want to take as much of the aggressive levels. Now this one is a bit aggressive here. We have a daily high here. I also think this is Monday, Tuesday's high as well, above 64.85. Another daily high here, 64.91. Okay, so I'm looking for a fresher level of supply, which brings us into the 64.98 handle. So this is no longer aggressive, if you will. But this is, I speak about this inside of live classrooms where I have a lot more time to dissect the strategy or just how to analyze the levels. But what I'm looking for is I would like these daily highs, okay, to get swiped out. If long, TPT start to take profit, and then this is up into this area here is where we could potentially build what's called a G-trap short, or take a counter trend short mean reversion, okay, even on a short-term basis. All right, a quick little scalp trade there. Okay, now again, you might be saying, well, Mr. Blue, if I look up and left, isn't this a rally, a basing in like a big drop here? And you're correct. That is true. That's true. Super obvious. Okay, but if I look left over here, that's a level, and all this stuff has been kind of tested, if you will, right? So I'm looking for kind of freshness, if you will, and that's what developed overnight. This is developed on Monday when it was like a short trading day. Futures were open just a little bit, low volume there. So I want to look for the juicy volume, which is going to bring us up into the Friday bar, which is August 29th. Ding, 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 ding. Market open, regular trading hours, dump right there. Okay, so that brings us to this area here, which is going to just be a little bit more higher quality. So as a trader, you have to wait for the proper levels. Okay, the better levels, you have a higher probability. Well, Mr. Blue, what if it doesn't hit? What if the first level works out? Well, if it works out, it works out. But that's a little more of a aggressive level, and it's a lower score. But on the parallel, in a parallel universe, that could easily just get swiped out. And so you got to, you can't have your cake and eat it too type deal, right? So just qualification. All right, not so inclined to short this market so quickly. So therefore, I can potentially wait to see if we can get up into a swipe better level right up there. Right, we'll see if that happens. NASDAQ, I can say it was the same thing here. How many days of the year do you estimate you win? I mean, I don't know. I win some, I lose some. And not to be weird, but 13 minutes before the market opened, for my Phantoms members and just trading in general, what's a more important metric? How much you are right and wrong? Let's say I take 100 trades. What's more important? Being right 70% of the time, or having a greater risk to reward attached to those trades? It's not about being right, folks. Like, you need to be okay losing 65% of the time. You need to be okay losing 65% of the time, right? And still be able to make money because you have a higher you have higher risk to reward ratio on your trades, right? Now, of course, we want to win more than we lose to make ourselves feel better, but this business is not about feelings, right? When I win a trade, I'm not like, yeah, my ego, right? If I take a loss, I take a loss. If I take a win, I take a win. That's it. It's just put into the files of your account, and you keep it moving. You keep it moving, right? You need to be able to take 3 good trading setups that crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. It was good trading setups, but they all 3 were wrong in a row, and still get up and take your 4th trading setup as you did not even lose 3 times in a row, assuming that setup is valid and you cross-reference your strategy, right? So it's not about how much, right? The fact that even people, and I'm not coming out and nobody weird here, but the fact that you're thinking about that tells me that I'm not even thinking about that, right? I am thinking about where I am going to plan and execute high quality trades, so I don't have to think about that, right? If you're already thinking about, hey, what's your win-loss rate, man? Are you a loser? Are you a winner? Like, what are you doing? Calm down, man. This is not even about that, right? You don't play that. You don't get into this business watching the scoreboard. You got to play the game. You got to play the game, right? Does that make sense? Stay focused, right? That's a valid question. Don't get me wrong. Some months I'm right 60, 65%. Some months I'm only right maybe 50, 45%, right? And that kind of balances out there, right? That balances out there. I had one month that I was very lower probability, lower as a hit rate than normal. And then I went and I investigated what was that, and I came to find out that I was taking a couple of stupid trades that brought my win-loss ratio down. So what can I do to that? Stop taking those stupid trades and get back on track and wait for those higher quality trades. And oh my God, voila, my hit rate goes up, and also my risk to reward ratio goes up, because now I'm being more patient, waiting for the proper setups that have a higher probability of working out and have a higher risk to reward ratio, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So that's super important, right? The last thing you want to be thinking about 10 minutes before the open is, what's my win rate? And am I going to lose? Am I going to win on these trades? Right? Execute, 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 execute. All right. Super important there. Globex high. Arguably one of the best traders that is still walking this earth, Richard Dennis, the original turtle trader. Richard Dennis. Look him up. Why am I even bringing his name up? Billionaire trader. Billionaire trader. Did the whole turtle trader experiment with William Icahart. Richard Dennis, arguably one of the best traders walking this earth, had a win rate of only, what, 10 to 20%? He was wrong 8 out of 10 times. But he's one of the best traders walking this planet. Why? Because when he's right, he's super right. So when he's wrong, out. How can you be a billionaire trader by being wrong 80% of the time? Only right 20% of the time? What? Are you crazy? That sounds crazy, right? But why is he one of the greatest? Because you don't care about being wrong. It's not about being wrong. It's about when you're right, how right are you? Right? Does that make sense? And most people are trying to be right, so they take profits too soon and they don't let winners ride. And that's why most traders are looking to get in this business, they fail because they want to feel right to feed their ego, so they take quick profits. And then when they have a losing trade, they don't get out because they don't want to feel sad, so they stay in a loser to hope that it comes back. So you're actually holding on to losers with the hope that it comes back to get your win rate higher, to feed your ego, when you should be cutting that loser, and then you should be riding winners. When the trade's working out and things are lined up and things are good, you need to ride those winners, because that's what's important. You need to stay in the market when things are going good, to ride to get those bigger winners. And when it's not acting right, you get out, right? You stay in on winners and ride winners. You cut losers when violated out, right? Does that make sense? On the next trade, right? Because it's not about, right? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong right now. I'll move on. Boom, boom, boom. I'm wrong right now. I'm spending too much time on this right now, so we got to move on, right? Does that make sense? So super important there, right? As you grow as a trader, as you grow in this industry, these things will start to come. The things that you thought were important when you first started learning how to trade and invest are not going to be important. And then you're going to be starting to look at other things, other key metrics, and other things become more important. Your patience, all the things that people say, like, yeah, okay, I get that, but just give me a trade, man. Just give me a trade. Let me get in. Do you think this is going to go up? Is it going to go down? You're not even mentally mature to be even trading these markets. You need to calm your ass down. Calm your ass down. You see what I'm saying? Your crackhead energy is not great. I can tell you're all over the place, because a trader is calm, cool, collected, in control, being patient, waiting for that setup to come to them. Does that make sense? Because I don't know what's going to happen next. So the only thing that I know is that if the market comes to this area, what am I going to do in terms of execution, put my risk on, and letting it go. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can't get physically attached. I can't get attached to that. I'm not going to get married to one trade. I'm not going to get married to one trading outcome. Okay, one trading outcome. Because as the great Mark Douglas would say, right? RIP to Mark Douglas, Trading the Zone. You got to read that book, 5 Fundamental Truths. This is so key. Anything can happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen next, right? There's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. One strategy could be working insanely good for 3 months because that market condition based on that strategy is on fire. But the next 2-3 months, as that market condition change, that strategy is starting to change. So you need to peel back on that strategy and adapt to a new, maybe say you're a trend trader, but now the markets are ranging. So as the markets are in trend, as you start to get stopped out of trend trades now, as the markets kind of start going sideways, as that condition changes, I can't begin to continue to trade trend trades in a sideways condition. I have to change and adapt to that condition. And then if we open back up in a trend up or down, then I got to stop from a range trading, and I have to, right? Because I'm going to get stopped out of some range trading now. And then I'm going to go back into trend trading, whether it's up or down, right? Does that make sense? It's about conditions, okay? Not about like one trade. It's not about one trade. I could lose every single trade today, right? Does that make sense? It would not hurt my ego one bit. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to do the same exact thing, right? Does that make sense? I'll see what I did wrong. I see what I did right. I get it, right? I'll do that. Don't get me wrong. right? But tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and find my edge again. Okay, and an edge is just nothing more of a higher probability of one thing happening over the other. That's the thing. So we're in a probability-based business. So I can't hang my hat up on one trading outcome because I know that I can't be in a one trade mindset. I got to be thinking about 10,000 trades. If I take 10,000 trades, if I take this trading setup 10,000 times overall, does it have edge playing out overall? Right? Does that make sense? It's not about one game today. Today is just one day in the grand scheme of your business going on for life. And that's how you have to think about this business. Right? I'm never going to stop trading and investing. Why? Right? Why would I ever do that? Right? I'm good at it. I know how to do it. Right? And you can make some money, right? Make some really good money. Right? And being wrong. Imagine that. Right? Being wrong more than you're right, but you're making a killing in this financial industry. So understand that. Understand that. I'm not looking to wake up to be right, to feed my ego. I'm looking here to get the bottom line, positive P&L, probability-based, edge-defined business, so I could do this for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm going to be 85 years old. If I'm still alive, I'm connected to the ether, however we're trading back in the future, all right, I'm still going to be hitting it. I'm still going to be hitting it. All right, probably competing with AI, but who knows? Okay. All right, let's get back into this here. Oh my God, we got 5 minutes to the open. Globex high, Globex low. Watch out for this level. Liquidity sweep. Stop loss built here. No, not a dumb question at all. And that was not a dumb question. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm high energy. I'm not mad. This is just me normal. I'm not normal. So this is stop loss is built here. So again, same thing. If we were to swipe below that, 23, you get the numbers here, right? There's that daily low. This week's low potentially, if that were to get taken out. I'm not sure if we're going to go all the way down here, but I do have this level 22,941 down here as well. Again, this is recorded right on YouTube, so you can check that out. For some high-speed folks in here that have been around for a little while in Phantoms, this happened yesterday. Shout out to Eric A, Phantom member. Right below that little shelf right there, there's a little IBI right here. You might want to pin 23,250. Now this is a bit aggressive. Chat trying to hop on my. It's all good. Don't take anything personal, man. Nobody's trying to attack you, man. We're all love and all help. At Phantoms, it's all love, man. Nobody's trying to hop on that, man. Get over yourself. Crimsy. Keep it crimsy. Don't be cringy. It's all love. I could do this to save some time. I can't even go into market maker gamer exposure. This is going to be aggressive here. All right. I just got to move on. OD, options depth. I guess this is where I say, if you want to learn how to trade like a pro, go here, man. There you go. Spies. So I kept up above yesterday's high. Up measly 0.9%. SPX. Let me just get the OD real quick. Options depth. Open, implied open 64.55, 64.50-ish, give or take. Why is that important? Captain Condor is out. We talked about this yesterday in the options class. Yesterday evening, we do have a condor here. 675 anchor on the call side, 64.15 anchor on the put side, creating a very similar to yesterday. Positive game node at the 6,500. So we got 64.70. We'll be opening about 50. We're opening up at or around right on a positive game node. Interesting here. So we do have this iron condor here and here today. Market just opened, so we just got to keep moving here. So let me pull view up. Let me get some internals. Switch this over. Amazon, massive gap up. Probably gonna get faded. Meta, massive gap up too. Massive gap up, but it's coming into some daily weeklies on Amazon. Meta as well. Meta might have some room here a bit. If you want to take a quick scalp on Meta, and it already hit. Damn, Meta was a clip. Bad time to TED Talk. Netflix, we got long this. This is starting to get a line. Netflix got some room. Gonzo took a trade off this yesterday. I don't know if anybody held this. Yeah, Meta already did a 10-point clip up to that weekly in 1 minute. So fix quiet down. Let me just get a quick peek at internals really quickly. Advanced declines, positive 700. Extremes are positive negative 2,000, slightly ticking lower. It's okay. VIX on VIX lower. Valdi quiet. Sure, if we keep VIX on a low. All right, Netflix looking juicy. We are coming up into a daily high, which is a little annoying on this right now. But if I were to get Netflix here, what are you trading? Basically rounding up to the 40 handle. So if I were to pick up, say, maybe even like the 12.52 half for maybe a 20-30 delta, you can maybe pick up this for maybe $4. Now the spread on this is annoying. So watch this. I'm going to right click this. I'll pick up the 12.50 half. The spread is annoying on Netflix. So I just copied this. So be careful hitting market on this. Let's see if I can try to work the mid. So long call, 12.50 strike call. If you buy market right now, you're paying $5 for it, over $5. You'd be hitting market. So you see if we can try to put in like a limit order here, maybe like a 450 limit, maybe even like a 420 limit. So you get filled on this. All right, 420. This is Netflix. September 5th expiration. Amazon. It's already going. Yeah, it's already gonzo. Careful with Netflix, folks. The spread will kill you, but it's gonzo. All right, nice little falter off the push. Now is he already above yesterday's high? Amazon. Now Amazon broke out into a new August high here. Snag. Let me just quickly snag some SPX. Netflix is already gone. NVIDIA fall through. Let's see. Microsoft decent fall through. Oh, come on, this thing slows my computer down a lot. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, we've been focusing on Netflix over the past couple of weeks. Still get those limits in, valid. Still got those limits in. It is valid. It is indeed still valid. Careful with Netflix on the spread. You could be down 60, 70 cents just on spread alone. Amazon fall through. Kind of high up there, though. So that's a new monthly high, so that would be distribution, so be careful on that. Man, everything moved literally like the first 2 minutes. Cleared its voids in 2 minutes. So be patient here. I'd work on Amazon too at the top of the list, but on some kind of small pullback, at least at a minimum. If you were to, I don't want to say the word chase, but Amazon will be a little bit better than something like Netflix because the spread is nowhere near as nuts as Netflix. It's another order. Man, Meta was awesome. It happened in a minute. S&P's tagged its overnight high real quick, reacted off that. 64.50, we have a decent little positive gamma node there. All right, so I don't want to get too far away from the. I don't want to get too far away. If I were to go long call SPX, I don't want to get too far away from the 64.90s. So if I were to even pick up, say, the 64.90s, it's only going for $1.05. If you want to pick up the 64.85 for a little bit more of a better delta, these are going for $1.65. So the 64.85s, you can pick up these long call SPX. Yep, news in 20. VWAP tag front side on SPX. All right. Watch out for this being it's a bull trap on a lot of things. So watch out. Because the NASDAQ is giving out its VWAP at the moment. Look at this junk here. Gap fill. Yep, we got a couple news hits coming. Thank you, chat. Keeping us lined up. Small positive gamma node. What did I say? 50 handle. Little baby one. Netflix ripper out the gate. Amazon ripper out of the gate. Amazon, you can just tell it almost wants to just make a new all-time high. It's a clearing gap. So Amazon, maybe take a shot at Amazon. I'll get some long exposure, bullish delta on SPX. Amazon, we're trading what, 233 handle ish. You pick up the 235 potentially in the event that this made a new high. This is Amazon here. These are going for about $1.45 on the Friday expiration 235 strike call. I can get it for maybe like $1 risk if I buy these for 148. I may stop loss at 40, 48 cents, 50 cents here. So about $1 risk here. All right, I'll call Amazon, see if we can pop out a new high on this. Friday's expiration, 235 strike call. This is the call premium. If you're on YouTube and you're lost and you don't know what's going on, learn. You gotta 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 learn. We'll see. Again, you know, giving this about $1, give or take a risk. Put some more orders out to TP some. All right, SPX. Anybody, you know, scalping a little SPX here? Yes, no? You can see Meta fading its whole thing there. Gotta be a little cautious with some longs here. This is VIX. You know, Google coming down, but it's in literally the stratosphere. So putting that into perspective, Google, well, it's coming down. It's literally on the moon, hanging out. All right, let's see. You know, just make sure you got some limit orders out here, due diligence. All right, SPX. So have target orders. I have a pending order up here, right? Does that make sense? To sell to exit TP. Right? I can even just clip out some right now real quick. Too small. TP means take profit. And of course, this would be from longs. No fall through so far. This is a not so good looking bar that's coming in here. All right, be patient with that. Slow it down now. I was actually looking at, we got Amazon on the VWAP tag at the moment. So if you wanted to add, this would be an add point right now. So if you wanted to add a contract, kind of high up here. Gotta be a little cautious. Same stop loss. All right. Joshing around on his VWAP at the moment. S&Ps, that is. The VIX on VIX is lower, but all these slightly up, more up volume versus down, but they're very light. Not even nothing to write home about at all. Cumulative take a bit higher. It's above the zero line. So what is this? Is this mags? Jason, I see your question comment, brother. I'll take a peek at that, brother. I got you. Oh, I hate that when that happens. All right, y'all see what I'm doing? So far, no fall through. Let's see. SPX is hovering on its VWAP. News. Let me see. Let's take a quick peek at KD. Jason. Yeah, short Amazon. I think that's Modi. Short Amazon from 4 hour supply. Yeah, and it's even better than a 4 hour supply. You got a monthly high up here. Right. So we are above last month's high. So for a day trade, buying to enter a little high, but we can still get a little bit of a pop there. Modi's up here. We're looking at a 4 hour. We'll see. First 30-minute bought print, holding decent. We're either just gonna on this news. We need to just get a spike. Dink, dink. Well, we'll find out in about 6 minutes. KD, man, Jason. Long-term folio, KD. Not bad. High, low. Nice little monthly location here. We're on a little bit of a dead cat bounce here. Monthly decent. weekly indeed. Good. Yeah, I'd still work on this. Get a positive COG from like 2 weeks ago, a little bit of a fall through here. Probably a slow grind, but yeah, still work on this. So yeah, this would all be front side. If you're looking at a long-term portfolio, this would be all what's called front side long entries, accumulation. So not bad. Cheap stock too, $31. So won't break the not a lot of cash to hold this, right? KD. That's just a quick little run around on it. So IPO inception, $50, dump down to 7. Yeah, higher, low. I'd say be okay in the event, especially for a long-term portfolio. It's a $20 stock. Even if this level gave out, this is a monthly time frame. So, work on this bad boy. The monthly time frame is so easy to chart. It's just so easy. If you spend a lot of time on the monthly time frames, as you drop down to the small time frames, things just pop out at you. Most retail traders love the small time frame and look at 1 minute time frames and tick charts. And as the S&Ps are dropping, oh, it's crashing, for 2 minutes. Higher time frames, traders, simple. Newer stock there. And as it comes down here, if you really want it, you got to buy it. And a lot of folks will happen sometimes. Understand here, they're like, no, should I really buy it? Or it's going to keep going lower? You got to get it. You got to get it. I still have a little PTSD of not picking up as much as I wanted to or needed to on that March and April drop. All right, news in 3 minutes. Whatever. Make sure you have your limit orders out there pending. Yeah, no problem, Jason. All right, for what it's worth, I mean, it's not doing anything. I could change it a little bit. I want to talk about opening day's range, first 15 minutes. Zilch. I can guarantee, I never said you guarantee, but I can guarantee something here. It's either going to go sideways, up, or down. Hymns. Oh, yeah. Pick up some more hymns. Island Gap. Modi. Island Gap off the 200. Think. This is good. Also got another massive monthly level down in here, too. This is in the long-term portfolio, folks. I haven't looked at this in a little while. Yeah, this is looking decent. All right, did Netflix fill? The dynamics changed just a little bit. Netflix did fill. I had to check on that on the stock chart. All right, so that filled there. Let's throw out a limit order just for now. All right, news. HIM's looking good. Longer term folio. All right, news is supposedly out. VIX non-reactive. Advanced decline is still positive, holding some kind of bids here. Advanced decline wise, VIX on VIX is lower. Vol slightly higher, nothing to write home about. Just market sideways. Cumulative tick higher. It's just not really doing much at the moment. This week has been a little annoying. Wow. Amazon VWAP test. Okay. You try to trade whole session every day or end early after green day? Depends on the day. If it's a choppy grind, I won't like press anything really. If it's a choppy grind session. Negative GX here. But if the conditions are like really good, you know, I like to continue to hit it if the conditions are like trendy or trend at day-ish in the indexes. All right, so we got, now I'm taking my Q a little bit here from the Qs. Qs are a little bit more in a fade, lower below its VWAP. But news is out, but it's not really that eventful yet, or nothing really much happened off that. You know, we are dropping a little bit there. Let's see. And this has been the case over the past, what, I'd say a couple of trading sessions now. You know, it can unravel, but this, when we opened last night, 6 p.m. Eastern, here's the overnight chop. We're still in that middle overnight chop. So, you know, the day session's trying to break down a little bit. This gap fill that we hit today, right? Another unfilled gap right down in here now. VIX not really telling me much. Breaking down though, these long calls are not going the way. You got about $1 on these. And we're breaking down a little bit. Let's see, Google. Google's in the abyss up there. What strike I have in SPX? That strike is the 85 handle. Not too far. Check out. I'm not reactive off that spike as much there. Obviously, being patient on that. ABBV. Yeah, ABBV. Well, you said it nicely where you said it's rallying up. It's up, monthly, weekly, daily, up, and we're coming into, yes, of course. I think this is the all-time high supply. Is it, Abby? That'd be counter trend. It's gonna be one of these days, man. Slow grind lower. Where is it? I just want to make sure this is the all-time high. If it is. Yeah, it is. So, excuse me. So, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. Well, depends on how you look at things. But if I wanted to short this supply level right there, now you could do that. This is the all-time high. But if you notice, I can keep a long story short here. Would trying to short somewhere in here within the all-time high, is that better? That's the thesis. You could do that. Don't get me wrong. However, last month's close, was that the last month's close after the pullback phase, right? Pushed this up nicely, right? So last month's close is letting us know as traders that this could have an easy time, higher probability where it could make a new what here? Make a new higher high. So instead of being a victim of a stop loss, as it's making a new higher high, we don't have no objective level of supply above to lean against there, right? But you're on what's called a new high sequence where you have sellers to exit distribution, right? Does that make sense? So end to that new high. Now, we don't really have nothing to lean against in terms of supply. So I would be looking at something like open interest, okay, in options to give me some kind of, right? Or you need to do like Fibonacci extensions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we have had previous all-time highs, right? And that right after the pullback, it got taken out and made new highs, right? Right. Then it had another pullback, made new all-time highs. And then as we rally up, it got taken out, then pulled back, right? Then as we pull back, now what? Sequence is it could potentially make another new what? Higher high. And that could be what's called a front side entry for a mean revert coming back in on a mean reversion. Does that make sense? Now, the all-time high could get respected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, but a lot of folks, what they'll do is they'll trade a supply zone like within here, put their stop loss right above the all-time high, boom, pop new high, they get stopped out, and then maybe you go higher a little bit here, and then you get like a mean revert on the higher time frames. All right, so you gotta be careful with that. All right, and that's supply zone. Now I'm actually still in them, the SPX. You know, I went a bit lower delta. And I got them for $1.70. They're going for about 53. Still fairly early. Let me see how. I mean, these are clearly wrong in the initial push already, right? I mean, it was profitable a little bit, but I'm not going to write home about that at all. I didn't TP anything here, right? So, the worst case scenario is I lose the remaining $50 there. What I was looking at is if it were to the strike, in regard to the strike price, if I go back to the SPX, I have the 85 strike. Which is up here. Not sure if that's going to get hit, but I'm not going to get. So this is this week. What is it? This week? What week up is this? This is last week's view up. Is it? 2 weeks ago view up. Because we have been. Are we still in a bull market or a bear market, folks? Now I'm not saying it's going to happen again today, but if you're trading yesterday, first initial trade was up like really quickly, better fall through yesterday a bit there. Okay, came up and then we swiped lower. And then towards the end of the day, I'm not saying it's going to happen again today, but we swiped lower and then all of a sudden the final hour swipe, right? So I don't want to be as reactive now. Decide to be on right now. What's printing a bit more at the moment as we are speaking, facts, okay, right now are a bit more of a long put, okay, long put as my calls are down what $1.60, right, whatever it is, and that's a fact, right? So if you did happen to catch some shorts, this would be a buy to close from those shorts. Now we did have a post news here, right? Wide range bar off the open here. This kind of reminds me a little bit of yesterday too, as well. All right. So if you are bearish, you can lean against, okay, that wide range bar here, and as we start to rally back up, okay, into this is where you could potentially build some shorts, sell short to enters. All right, now if we do happen to rally back up, and let's say we get back up here around here, okay, we don't get back above that, violate this bar right there on the VWAP push. If we get up here too, this would be the place where you're like, you know what, I don't really like this SPX trade anymore. What did Mr. Blue get me into? As we start to rally back up, let's say this goes from 70 cents up into maybe like $1, right? And you got it for $1.70. Could you start to scale out of a little bit here? Yes, you'll take a small, you'll get out of these as a smaller loss, okay? As you start to reduce exposure on a bit of a move back up, okay? Now here's the thing: as we start to rally back up, you reduce exposure. Let's just say this thing snaps back up here, right? This is why I'm not letting go of that as much right now, even though we're a little bit below daily VWAP. It's not making any advancement higher or lower, because remember, putting multiple things together, I'm going to use, trading futures as well. I'm going to use futures to help with SPX to help with futures. You put SPY in the equation there, then you get NASDAQ, you get the Qs, and you get the NASDAQ futures NQ, right? QQQs, the ETF. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up, Mr. Blue. Have we done anything since last night in S&P futures? Yes or no? Are we in the middle of the overnight range for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? It's been 17 hours. Has S&P done anything? Has the S&P done anything? It's done nothing. So the higher time frame trend is up. So why am I holding on to an SPX long call that I'm floating down $1 on? Because I have the higher time frame up and we're just in range. So why am I going to get out of my short if I'm not violated anything? And then if I get out of my short and then I did short, we're still in the mid range, and then we pop back higher. And they're like, well, should I get long? What should I do? Should I get long or short? What should I do? Oh my God, I'm pulling my hair out. We have to kind of wait, right? So I'm staying into something, but I might have to get out of that in the event that we break outside of a range, okay? But right now we're still inside of it, right? So you just kind of like take it, it's range. That's the condition right now, right? Even something like Netflix doing nothing either. Even something as Amazon, right? First initial push here is simply going sideways here now, right? So even if anybody's short, they're like, okay, make it a little bit here, make it a little bit here, make it a little bit here. But we'll see if that continues, right? But we have this wide range bar here, basing. The battle's enforced to be here. It's going to work out, right? what's going to work out. So this wide range bar has not given out yet. And in fact, I'd even watch out right below here, because what they do sometimes is they'll come and they'll swipe that real quick. Now Modi's bearish or short off this up here, right? Give or take. In the event that this comes lower, Modi would be what? Taking profit from said some shorts, right? Now it could be a little bit of a sweep right below that wide range bar, so be careful, right? SPX new low. This bar's going to close. We just open at 10. So this is not going to close until 11. All right, and don't forget your training, folks, right? G-Trap. And for the Phantoms that have been around for a little while now, right below that Globex low is key. Not a super high quality level below there, though. So we were talking about that in NASDAQ too. I think did NASDAQ hit it? All right, NASDAQ is right below that Globex low. I thought I mapped out an aggressive level also down here. Okay, opening up space. So NASDAQ did break its Globex low very briefly, but there's not a high quality level of demand down there. Right below that. All right, so below Globex low, you can work QQQ puts. So I pick up the 569 for $1.40. Check VIX. Yeah, this is all over the place. All over the place. I didn't even lock in those Q puts. If I were to, I'll get light on them. Amazon still just hanging around. And in terms of gamma, $64.25, $64.30. 1 ounce of theory on IG, the 64 SPX 64.25, 64.30 is not as much significance as such as something as like the 64.15, 64.10s. 25s don't really have much there. You see that blue node right there, but that is coming from the 64.15. It's creating this whole area of positive gamma down here. We're in a slight gamma node, positive gamma node right now, 64.50 on the SPX. Now its price is coming down into that little bit of a, it's not insanely massive, but there's something there of a positive gamma. We do have negative GEX a little bit above price. So if the bids get taketh here and we could go up a little bit, that the market could fuel on itself a little bit more to the upside. If we fill into this what's called negative GEX regime up here. All right, and right. So again, I mentioned that 64.50 as a positive gamma node tag. We're hitting that right now. No new low so far. So again, I got the 64. What do we got? I got the 64.85. We're only 30 points away from that. Nothing too crazy there, as it's only 10.20. But again, those are floating down right now. But we'll see. But I'm not so inclined to just jump in bearish on this. I mean, if I look at the past If I look at right now, we're right on where we opened. So, we just got to be patient. It's just the condition at the moment, folks. All right. So, I'll remain in these. They're down $1.20. We got Netflix. Slightly positive if you filled the 420s. If you wanted to reduce some bullish exposure. And then we got Amazon. That's still just hanging out. So I got to do nothing and just wait and control my risk. Right. So I don't want to overlap anybody with, I don't know, I think Phantoms is going live. I'm not sure. So who's going to manage these? G-Trap immense. Not a super high quality level there. Providing a little bit of a bounce. Nothing crazy there. That's NASDAQ. Yeah, folks. Adjusted for dividends. So SPY is the only one that has like an adjusted chart, if you will, because it's an ETF that represents the actual companies itself. So it'll be like a earnings dividends adjusted, but SPX typically just actual. Charles, talk to me, Goose. If you can hear me. View up test pending. Indeed, sir. All right, chop suey. Be patient, folks. Just gonna see how these unravel. I can't do nothing right now at the moment. That said, if you want to learn a little more about this, we have a bunch of Phantoms members in here. I also see some new folks in here. Welcome, wherever you are. If you go to TradePhantoms.com, everybody that is an actual Phantom that's actually in here as well, they all started here. Where? Click register. Today being Thursday the 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 hours from now, today, if you put your name, your email, phone number, what have you, click on attend, you'll get sent a link. About a 90-minute session tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Mr. Black or Mr. Green. Sometimes they both in there, kind of helping each other out there. Here's an agenda. Y'all can read that. But how markets work, we're all professional traders there, right? Multi-direction, up, down, sideways, doesn't matter, right? Option selling, we talk a lot about that as well. Credits, not just stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto these days, right? Multiverse, multi-asset class traders here. Right, if you're just starting out trading for short-term income, just trying to make a little side money here on the side, that's cool. All the way if you're looking at retirement or even looking to start a retirement or in retirement or managing wealth, that's fine as well. Come one, come all, right? All age groups. We have people that are freaking 15 years old still in high school, all the way to folks that, of course, are in the retirement age, right? So one-stop shop for all, right? We're not for everybody, and that's okay. Come check it out. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, cool as well. Shake your hand, and we'll move on. And that's cool. That said, I'll see some of y'all. Be patient today, folks. Right? Don't go crazy. Right? No, long short. Let it unravel bar by bar. All right, my Phantoms group will know. Today, Thunder Thursdays, I'll see y'all in class. We got options and futures today. Okay, so in the advanced futures, if I'm 5-10 minutes late, it's kind of be okay with that. As we got part 3 in options where we're talking about debit spreads today. So I want to make sure that the team with options, all the new folks, has a great understanding of what that looks like in terms of risk. And then I'll catch y'all in advanced futures after that. Yapping. Let me shut my yapper. VWAP reclaim on SPYs. Is it going to fall through? We'll see. Pay to find out. Make sure you get your TPs. Don't be greedy today. That's that. I'm out. God bless. Take care. Blue out.